Like, if I wanted to make a pay-per-view event that is solely made off of guys that are usually on prelims or that aren't ranked at all in the UFC. And I went through all of MMA ranking, was deciphering a whole bunch of different combinations of fights, and this is going to be part one of it, okay? This is what I came up with for the most fan-friendly pay-per-view event with guys that you maybe have never heard of, or dudes that are just they haven't yet solidified themselves as a kind of main name in the UFC, all right? If I was tasked with the matchmaking, I was basically doing matchmaker all yesterday and this morning a little bit. The first fight that I would come up with, Natalia Silva versus either Priscilla Cachoeira or Karine Silva, who I just found this morning, was watching all of her fights, all of her fight highlights, especially the Dana White Contender Series. One of the more flexible people in the entire UFC. Versus, I don't even know if these two know each other. These are all just obviously hypothetical. I just came up with whatever fights would be the most exciting and violent. But Natalia Silva, obviously we know her. Complete flyweight prospect. I mean, a girl that is going to just absolutely make her mark in the UFC by the time her career is done. Everybody's going to know Natalia Silva. Striking, unreal. Takedown defense, unreal. Can change levels. But Silva, she's huge and she's jacked. And I think that this fight would be so interesting because they're just so evenly matched. I would actually give Natalia maybe the slight edge on the feet, but the thing with Karine is Karine is that, I don't know how to say her name, is that she's so physically imposing and her arms are really long and she's just absolutely jacked that I think it would probably create distance issues for Natalia, and I would give Karine the power advantage. So maybe if you land one of those shots on Natalia, it could change the direction of the fight no matter how much Natalia is kind of piecing her up. And if it goes to the ground, Silva's, dude, her guard is insane. Like, she's just able to against that I forget what it was, like a Chinese girl that she was fighting. She just brought her legs up over like she was just like in a normal, just in her guard, and then she just flings her legs up and around her, and it's just so dangerous. Like constant armbar threats, and then I think that she caught her like in a guillotine or something like that, or arm triangle. I forget what it was, but that would be, dude, especially the girl fights. This would be the one way to get people on board with, because I feel like a lot of people kind of hate on him a little bit. But the next one, and this could be one of my favorite ones on the entire thing that I made, is we had to have bantamweight on here. And that's Daniel Willie Cat Santos versus our boy Rinya Nakamura. Rinya Nakamura absolutely has it, baby. He's the next Khamzat Chimaev. And just from against his fight with Toshiomi Kazama, from the freaking opening bell, that dude's throwing his left. His right is insane, and you don't want to go to the ground with him because he's a really freaking good wrestler. But the thing with Daniel Santos is he's probably an even better striker, throws spinning attacks. Even if he's losing in a fight, he still pushes the pace, and he just throws amazing combinations, and nothing's telegraphed with him. Everything is wicked fast, and he has good jiu-jitsu because he trains with Charles Oliveira, shoot the box. But his striking is unreal, and he's a young, I think in my opinion, if you haven't watched a fight, he's literally one of the most exciting bantamweights on planet Earth. And I just think from the get-go, I don't know if this would last more than 2 minutes, but it would be super duper fun. Yeah, that's that. And then the next one is kind of just like a freaking brawl, baby. Pete Rodriguez is fighting Nathan Levy. He's moving down from welterweight after going 1-1. He fought Jack Della. That's kind of how I found out about Pete Rodriguez. Pete Rodriguez got good boxing. I forget, was it some Jackson guy that he fought, and he was throwing this like sick, kind of weird, kind of shovel dig, kind of uppercut against him, and he ended up getting the KO. Pete Rodriguez, really good boxing. He even showed good boxing against Jack Della Maddalena, which is impressive. But Pete moving down to 155 could be a game changer. Nathan Levy's going to be tough, though. But I would have him, Pete Rodriguez fighting Trevor Peek, bro. Trevor Peek, I think he fought Eric Gonzalez in his UFC debut. I'm just throwing awkward hammer fists, flying. Just that knockout was unreal, like absurd. Like he just shut the lights off of Eric Gonzalez, and I think that these dudes would have an absolute brawl. But while simultaneously showing, I think Pete Rodriguez is probably more of a slick boxer, more of that clean. But this fight would never touch the ground whatsoever. And Trevor Peek, anytime, I just feel like both these guys would stalk each other down and meet in this. I don't know. They'd probably just meet in the center of the octagon and just start flinging punches. But it would be insane. Malas and tensiones for both of these guys because they throw heat, bro. So, and I know that I'm not a professional striker here, and I know that those terms probably kind of annoy people when they say throw heat. I know it annoys Bo Nickel, but just looking at this from the outside in, the only thing that these guys do are throw hands. So, yeah, I mean, they're obviously good at other stuff, but this fight would be straight up main event. I would pay $50 just to see this fight. And I was also thinking, like, what would be kind of fun if, because I feel like some of these fights, what if you just did like 1-rounders? Or, you know, it'd also be fun if we expanded on this and maybe made it like unlimited rounds, like who would win, but we'll just go normal for now. And I'm going to make a part 2 for this for sure. And then the next one, this was tough for me, dude. The amount of names I wrote down was hard. And I came up with, for the co-main, Andre Fialho versus Gabriel Bonfim. Gabriel Bonfim is an absolute killer, dude. His fight against, what was it, Trey Waters in Dana White Contender Series, he slips really well. So rangy, so long, but then also, oh, you want to change levels on him? Oh, he's going to sink in a choke. So he's just dangerous everywhere. He's an absolute finisher. He finishes almost every guy he fights. Andre Fialho is not afraid to get in the pocket, start throwing down. I know he's lost to Jake Matthews and Muslim Salikov in his last couple fights, but he's just so skilled, and I see him, follow him on Instagram. He's training all the time. Really good wrestler. This fight, if it went to the ground, I think it would be more evenly matched than Gabriel would be expecting, just because I think Andre can get back up to his feet. But, oh wait, scrap that, dude. Andre Fialho versus Gabriel Bonfim, that'd be the main event. And the first fight that I actually wrote down would actually be crazy, dude. It'd be Waldo Cortez Acosta versus Carl Williams. We saw Carl Williams, I think it was like a Polish guy he was fighting. Absolute craziness. He was like throwing him around the octagon. They were both exhausted. And then Waldo Cortez Acosta, like former pro baseball player, I think, and he throws heat fastballs, overhand rights. I think it'd be a wild heavyweight fight, and we always have to have a heavyweight fight kind of on a pay-per-view, but especially these two guys, because you know that they're just going to, I don't know, Carl Williams would change levels and stuff, but he does like to throw wild combinations on the feet, which leads to him kind of changing levels when guys are shelling up, you know, but I think that would be phenomenal. But this so far would be this is part 1 of this. So we've got Waldo Cortez Acosta versus Carl Williams leading it off, then Natalia Silva versus Karine Silva, Daniel Santos versus Rinya Nakamura, Pete Rodriguez versus Trevor Peek, and the main event would be Andre Fialho versus Gabriel Bonfim. But also a sneaky good pick would be like Matt Semmelsberger versus Gabriel Bonfim, because Matt Semmelsberger has stones for hands, and he looked really good against Jake Matthews. But yeah, I think that's kind of what I had to say there, dude. This took longer than you think to come up with these, but guaranteed, if you pay $79.99 for this pay-per-view, they probably give you a 50% discount on this, but absolute money. And I have other matchups that I'll use next time. I didn't get any featherweights in there because the featherweight is absolutely stacked, dude. Featherweight, there's so many fun matchups. All right.